Good morning.
Good morning.
We thought we'd do a different type of video today. We decided that we would do like a year in review, and we decided that the easiest way to do it was I would write down a series of questions, and then we would both separately go and do our answers, and then we're going to talk about it, and then at the end of the video we're going to tell you what this year has cost us to the best of our ability. We've got most things written down. Some things might be a little bit hit and miss, but most things are written down. We're going to tell you what it's cost us to do this full-time van life for this year, and so let's get going. So the first question I asked was a favourite destination of 2023 and why. So would you like to go first?
Yes, I suppose, giving it a lot of thought, I can't say I've got a particular favourite. All the sites in Scotland were brilliant. We had some great views, and everywhere we went in Scotland it was amazing, and north of England. But no, when the trips are down, I can't say I've got an absolute favourite. We've got so much more to see as well. Yeah,
I mean, we're coming to like favourite CLs and things like that, but for me, the favourite destination, which like sort of area, was definitely Northumberland. Mainly because of the history all around there, which is something that I really enjoy. The beauty of the CLs up there and the campsites, etc. But also just the fantastic roads to drive around on in the car, because we spend a lot of time in the car now. But for me, it was definitely Northumberland. So the next question we asked was favourite campsite of 2023 and why. And I think I'll go first with this one, if you don't mind. For me, it was Northolm CL, which is in Lincolnshire. Fantastic people that owned it, Keith and his wife. Just a really nice vibe about the place. It was brilliant for Chancellor. You could go loads of places. I thought good facilities and its location for everything else. It wasn't far to go shopping. It wasn't far to go to the beach. It wasn't far to go to the woods and stuff. So for me, Northolm CL in Lincolnshire. What about you?
Mine, again, like I said, it is difficult because, you know, there's nothing really stood out spectacularly. But I did like North Lees in Perth.
Oh, Perth.
We had a beautiful view. We were up on a hill outside overlooking the River Thames, so the view was amazing. It was lambing when we were there, so and Andy, the farmer, really involved us. It was great, and where we were situated, we could see when he went out. He got 5 sheepdogs that went tearing around the land with him, and I sat with my binoculars watching the field of sheep to see when the first lambs came
out. Yeah.
No facilities there. There was no toilet or anything like that. You just didn't need it, and had nice walks for chance. So I really enjoyed our time there.
North Lees. Yeah, see, the trouble is you go so many places we've been, I forgot that one. Right, okay, so this one's split into 2 parts. Favourite campsite, summer, and then favourite campsite, winter.
My favourite summer one was Steve's favourite overall one, which was Northolm in South Somercotes. It was by the fishing lake, which was lovely. It had a nice dog walk across fields, and it was a grass pitch.
Chancellor, stay still, please.
It was really nice, so yeah, I like that one.
For me, it was Dean Hollow, because it was £7 a night. And we met Nick and Sue there, Mel and Tony there. The dogs all played really well.
Lovely walk in the woods up there as well, every day you could do.
With Reggie and Florence and and the surroundings as well. That beautiful the hollow behind us and all that. Yeah, but also because it was £7. Right. So what was that? Favourite winter.
Yeah, for me it was Stonehaven.
See, I thought you'd go somewhere different.
No, it was a nice site. It was a nice level site. It was a work in progress because they just started building a shower block, but that was nowhere near done when we went there.
No.
But it was there was a nice dog walk because they'd had this U-shaped dog walk that sort of went all the way round the boundary, which, you know, people had put up little elves and
Yeah,
bits and bobs
all
in
the
the woods.
locals. Yeah,
But
that
I
was
could
brilliant.
also walk right up the woods. It was quiet. They were lovely. The
Yeah,
owners were
absolutely.
Louise and Steve and Louise were absolutely
brilliant. Yeah.
brilliant. So
Upper Crawton Farm or Upper
yes,
Crawton Park.
Upper Crawton. No, it was just Upper Crawton.
Or just Upper Crawton.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
was just outside of Stonehaven.
For me, this
So
might
it was
surprise you. I actually went for one of our first ones of 2023. I went for Abington.
Yeah.
At
good,
oh,
yeah.
now what was Abington's actual place called?
Oh, do you know what? I can't remember.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm gonna have to get the book out.
Yeah, well, Abington was the village.
We got. Yeah, Abington was the village.
The site was
Lettershaws,
Farm.
which was a CS.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lettershaws Farm.
Rena and family looked after us so well over that
We
Christmas.
were there over the Christmas
They were
period,
so gorgeous to
yeah.
us. They really were, and helped us out with Wi-Fi. Let us use their router.
And again, beautiful location.
Oh,
Like
and
in the middle of nowhere.
in
but
the
it was-
snow, we'd
yeah.
walk along the streams and everything.
Yeah.
For me, that was for winter.
Yeah,
I don't
it
think you
was.
can beat that.
No, it was good.
Right, next one.
Least favourite.
No, best facilities.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I've
Best
got the
facilities
question
on a
down the wrong way.
CL or a CS.
I liked Highburn House, although it's not
Yeah.
a CL. It is a registered, local authority registered campsite. So, I mean, it was pretty much kind of like a club campsite.
Yeah,
if you
I mean,
like.
they had
With a
fantastic
difference, yeah.
fantastic facilities on
It
there.
was,
The
they-
showers and all that
They
were really
did,
good.
and you could literally just walk to the village of Wooler,
Yeah.
which is in, you know, it's Northumberland. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was really good.
I kind of went for two. I also agreed
Yeah, I
with
did.
you,
I went two as well.
Highburn House, but a very close second, yeah, was Northolm, which was my favourite CL of the year. The facilities there were good. I mean, doing the facilities is difficult because, like, as an example, that Northolm had great showers and toilets and friendliness and all that, yet the water was a pain. So, you know,
Yeah, swings around.
having to do it all with a barrel because I couldn't reach with a hose. But so it was a thing toss-up for me.
I had
but
two on Short. My second one for best facilities was Short Lane Farm in Norfolk.
yes,
You know, that was nice. That was
Chance.
very out of the way in the middle of nowhere. But they had like free showers and they were nice. But they were built in porter cabin type buildings. But they were lovely and they had this huge, great butler's sink thing like outside that you could do, you know, rinse clothes in and things like that. But it was just nice. I like that
yeah.
one. For facilities wise.
Definitely. Yeah, that
We
was
don't
good.
ask so much, do we?
No, we use our own facilities most of the time. Right, okay. This is a tricky one. My answer's going to upset a few people. Least favourite destination and why? You go
We
first.
don't know what each other's written here, so
No,
this is
no.
quite funny. I didn't like Six Counties in Nanty Moor. It's nobody's fault. It was a nice site. We were right on top of a hill and it went down in a dip and it was a big shooting range. They did clay pigeon shooting and gun tuition and all sorts of things like that. So for where it was, and the view was spectacular. But, you know, they did have several dogs, but two of them were absolutely huge. And although they were very friendly, they were a little bit intimidating.
Very intimidating, I thought.
And, you know, we weren't treated badly or anything. We were left alone and it was great. But I didn't feel that the guy's heart was in the CL. I think the business was the business, which was the shooting thing. And fair dues. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just felt
Was
not
neglected,
very
wasn't it?
welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you, but mine, I am sorry, family, and my fellow Kentish men. But there is a reason I'm going to say this. For me, it was Kent, and this is the reasons. It was way too soon going back to our home county.
I have put that. I have put Kent, but
Way too soon. We realised it might be called the Garden of England, but the bits that we know of, right, apart from where we used to live, are dirty. It's full of traffic. it's full of chavs. Yeah, and not all of it, no. But we realised after going around and meeting lots of nice, friendly people, yeah, Kent is not very friendly, and it's certainly not motorhome friendly.
About a lot of southern counties,
yeah,
but yeah,
and also.
Chapel
A very
Farm.
close second to that, sorry, was the crossings in Cumbria, which was like being parked in a disused old abandoned car park.
Yeah, that was true. It was nice. Again, it was nice. It was like in the middle of nowhere.
Couldn't find the owner. Yeah, couldn't get him to come and take the money. Yeah, no, didn't like that at all. Only cut that journey. We cut that one short and buggered off, didn't we?
Yeah, and I think the only other one I had that I'll say least favourite, that I've got anything negative to say. So barely, I mean, this is a small amount of negativity where with all the sites that we've stayed at, we're not really being that negative at all.
No, not at all.
But the only other one that I had a comment about was Chapel Farm in Undy. That was just as we crossed over into Wales over the Bristol Channel, and it was was okay. But again, it was a working farm, which is great. I love staying on working farms.
Yeah,
but it was a bit awkward when you got, for the most of the week that we were there, you'd got dirty, great farm machinery coming within inches of the van every day, twice a day, backwards and forwards. That was a bit hold your breath. Are they going to whack us? And he was a little bit boxed in because although you'd got the walk all the way along the estuary, the Bristol Channel, which was great, you'd either got to go through a field of bullocks who were a little bit frisky and a bit intimidating because they like to chase you.
Well, you shouldn't be so attractive.
And being chased with a herd of bullocks. You didn't like it either.
I didn't, yeah, well, they might have been gay. Nothing wrong with being gay, by the way, but if you're a bullock and weigh about 2 tonne, it's a bit scary.
And I'd also got some statics that people were kind of living in, and but it was nice, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't one of my favourites.
A lot of these things will tie into one of the questions later when we get to it. So, nicest drive. Now, that can be in anything, because we do a lot in Betty, obviously, but also can be in the motorhome. And for me, I went with a motorhome drive. I went from Ayrshire when we went over to Stonehaven via the Cairngorms.
Oh, that was nice, yeah.
Yeah, that was the snow was still just visible, wasn't it, up in the mountains on the Cairngorms and stuff. And it was a 5 hour. I like a long drive, being an ex-truck driver. I like a nice long drive you can get your teeth into. It was 5 hours.
Right the way across Scotland, yeah.
And we just went once and stopped for 10 minutes for a sandwich. And for me, that was a lovely drive. Nice windy roads and towing the car and stuff. Yeah, what did you go with?
I couldn't say again that what was the nicest, as all of the drives that we had were different and had different perspectives. So I did love driving through Scotland, especially in the ice and snow, because we had a lot, really low temperatures.
Oh, yeah.
And driving down some of the roads with the trees were literally frozen.
The drive, in Abington,
Christmas card stuff. It was magical. It was beautiful.
Before the flood in Abington, when we got the site got a bit flooded, we went off on a trip just over the other side of the hills looking for a laundrette, and that drive back was hair-raising. In the snow and ice, but it was absolutely breathtaking.
And Cumbria, and particularly Northumberland, again, the rugged country, which is what we love. We love rugged, empty, bleak sometimes countryside. And also in Northumberland, the hidden dips and blind summits was quite exciting.
Yeah. Not going too fast.
That's so horrible.
You got a particular kick out of them, didn't you?
The A68, I think, was the best one.
Sorry about we're doing this off of notes, but otherwise we'd just get all confused. So
Don't take much.
No, it doesn't take anything at all. Right, so most valuable lesson learned in 2023. Not in life in general, but in 2023. What did you go with?
Well, for me, it was like, don't underestimate the weather, especially the wind. You can get a little bit complacent. We had that awning, and if any of you ever seen the video that we did catch, and we'd got it up, and we were doing okay with it, even though we had some gusty winds. So we knew some more winds were coming, and we thought, oh, that's okay, it'll cope. It didn't.
And so, there is our gazebo. Oh my god, no, I want the outside light on. Yeah, there's our gazebo.
You know, that it was absolutely horrendous. So
It was hilarious,
yeah,
though.
it was hilarious.
It was hilarious because
yeah.
unfortunately none of it was on film. Only the
little
bits
bit,
in the
yeah.
morning and that little bit at night when it was a thing. But if you could have seen us outside actually holding it,
Hanging on
one
to
corner each, and then going, well, we can't let go.
It was taking us off our feet. It was
And then
incredible.
Lorna running in to get the bread knife and us cutting it loose. that was. Well, I just wish all that had been on camera because it was hilarious.
But that is, you know, you are, in most cases, you are living in the great outdoors. So, you know, it is about be wary, understand your terrain and again, your weather and how that might impact on you.
Mine's a little bit different to that. My most valuable lesson, and I'm still learning this lesson because I've got a very short temper and I know it, is to not stress about the small things as they get sorted at some point. Because I do stress about them and I want to get them done immediately. This door being like a prime example, you know, wanting to get it done and fixed and just can't, and you've got to remember where you are and all that. But it, you know, as it's gone on, it's like, oh, it's only a door, you know. And also, that looks can be deceiving. When you arrive at a CL that isn't like the pictures.
Nothing like the pictures. Yeah.
Nothing like the pictures whatsoever.
Yeah,
Whoever takes them photos for some of them CLs, you are a magician. It's all I can say. How you make a matchbox look like a massive great field, I don't know. But anyway, we've been to several places that I've gone, oh God, no. In fact, when we turned up at this one, I went, well, this isn't like the pictures. And it's lovely. We really like it. So not to be, looks are deceiving.
One of the lessons also is we rely quite heavily on the internet, obviously, for the YouTube channel. We like our bit of telly in the evenings, and again, you know, it's quite internet reliant because we won't talk about the satellite dish at the moment because that's for another time.
The satellite dish.
But it is about a valuable lesson is about, yes, that site looks wonderful, let's go. Phone them up and ask them, what's your internet signal like? Because we have turned up on some that we thought were going to be okay and it's been abysmal, and that can be quite frustrating if you do rely on it a lot, as we do.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah. So the next question was things you would change about how you live full-time in a van.
Oh, you go me first.
Well, yeah, I'll go first because mine's actually quite, it bends in with what we just said. Learn to be more tolerant of other people and their incredible ability to park right next to us. And to do more research about the area and the CLs and places that we pick. A little bit lax, I am. Lorna does a little bit more than me, but I'm a little bit lax on. I see an area and think that would be great, and then sometimes it's not quite so great, and sometimes it's better than you think it is. So to do more research, that would be my most valuable. That would be the one thing that I would change about my living in a van, because other than that, the next question will help you out. Yours?
I wasn't thinking of changing anything much. We've been able to make small changes as we've gone along, little things like we got the wardrobe, which to us was a bit useless because we needed more shelves really for the kind of clothes that we wear, so Steve was able to put shelves in. And as we've gone along, we've done lots of different things like that, how we keep the cupboard, what we keep wearing. They're all things within our power to change.
Yeah, loads of,
So I did give this a lot of thought, and I actually thought, well, do you know what? I wouldn't change a thing.
No,
really. The things that Steve has said, obviously, they're
things more about where we've gone to, but the actual living in a van should tie in nicely with the next one. Yeah. Best van life tip for beginners or anyone who's thinking of actually doing it full time. So you go first.
Well, I would say reflect on how you may feel being cooped up in a small space during like bad weather and things like that when it's not possible to get out. The summer's amazing because you've got your door open all the time, you've got your awning out. If you've got one, you've got wherever you are, you're free. You've got the sun, you can sit outside half the day. Turn to the winter and it's a different kettle of fish, and especially the weather we've been having recently, as you can't, it is torrential rain.
Oh, last night's storm, Jesus
absolutely.
Christ, that was terrible.
So you need to be someone who's quite able to self-entertain and be self-sufficient, or, you know, or the pair of you, whoever's living together in the van. So you need to be able to have things to keep you occupied, you know, hobbies or whatever, because that is quite a big thing, you know, I believe.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. I've had for slightly different. Become familiar with how your van works before you leave. Because I thought we'd become familiar with how the van worked, and I knew nothing. And when we got out on the road, there was a big learning curve. I mean, we did one thing that was really good. When we had the handover video, I filmed the whole handover video. So we had that video to go back to as he explained it. Lorna wrote things down. They are really good for motorhomes especially, but obviously for van conversions and things, just get to know how your van works and how it's going to be for you living in it. Go away for short trips, etc. We're really pleased. We had a certain, we had a certain layout that we wanted. We couldn't get quite that layout, so we made a compromise. We've mentioned this before, on the bed. Now, because we're of a certain age, we don't need to sleep in a bed together, and it's better for Lorna to be out here, because Lorna prefers sleeping out here. That bed is horrible to get on and get off of.
We've got different sleeping patterns as well.
Yeah, but I stay awake till the early hours of the morning every night. Lorna's asleep, you know, pretty much like that.
And I need the dark, and Steve likes the telly on.
And it works for us, but become familiar, I put, with how your van works, and also about learning to adapt. You need to be able to adapt to anything, because this is not like living in a house, but it can be exactly the same as living in a house if you learn to adapt. You know, I'm not talking about things like toilets or any of that. Just the mere fact of, like, when one person gets up, if Lorna gets up and goes to the kitchen, I don't get up until Lorna's got herself in position, and it comes naturally now. Just go there. So we don't. We hardly ever bump into each other. We were when we first started, weren't we? I mean, and the dog is always laying on the floor in the way, but anyway, somehow we've now learned to miss treading on him, so which is quite good for a chancer. Right, getting near to the end now before we get to the things. Best site that we have come across for chancer.
Well, as you all know, Chancer's a collie, so he needs a lot of exercise every day. And the best sites we've visited, I think, were those where he could have some time off the lead on the site.
Yeah.
He goes, I take him out every day without fail, and we try and do at least a mile, if not 2 or 3.
Usually 2 at least, isn't it?
Yeah, places where sometimes he can't during lambing and when there's livestock around and that. He's on an extender lead anyway, so we make sure we take him for beach runs.
Yeah,
and things
I was going to say,
like
he gets time off the lead quite
so the
a
best
lot.
sites were ones, and that was Stonehaven. They had a nice big field, and when there was, because it was winter last winter, there were very few other people, so he could come off the lead.
Totally.
Short Lane Farm. That, you know, we were the only ones there, for most of the time. Church Farm, Stanford St Bernard, and Dean Hollow. They were all ones that we were able
to let
for him to come off and play with the other dogs that were there, and it was secure and there was no risk to livestock or anything.
I didn't go with. I went with just the one, which now you've said all that, I completely agree with. And it was Stonehaven up at Croughton as well.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was the space he could play with a ball out in that big backfield. You had that amazing dog walk that the locals had all decorated. And, you know, you've got to take into consideration at sort of about 9 o'clock, because that's our kind of bed time-ish, roughly, when I go off to the back and Lorna's like snoozing. I said snoozing, not snoring. I usually pop him out for his last little wee. He's got quite a good ritual. He will wee on command, right, which is really good. Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but you need somewhere where you can just pop him to a bush to have a wee. Yeah. And for me, that was definitely Stonehaven.
Yeah.
Right, and the best and worst thing about van life in 2023, which is going to be probably the same thing for both of us. I'll go first though. Seeing all that we have seen so far and being able to see it in our own time, and the freedom to choose what we do and when we do it, really, was for the best thing for me. What was the best thing for you?
It's all of the above, basically the freedom and the travelling and the cost of living.
Yeah, well, yeah, which we're going to come on to in a minute. Worst thing? For
me, laundry, doing your laundry in the winter can be a bit of a pain. Now, we've got the washing machine, and when it's fair weather, I mean, we can do it all year round. It's not a problem.
You just reminded me, I didn't add that into the figures we're going to give you, what we paid for the washing machine. So we've got to add 140 quid in.
Yeah, so it can be a bit of a pain when you've got big stuff, you know, like when you want to do your bedding or your covers that you've got on the chairs and things like that. So, you know, we usually go and find the Revolution or Wash Me, as they're now called, and they're not cheap, you know, they're not cheap.
No, they're not.
And some places have got them, they're easy and they're close, other places haven't. So, I mean, it's a small thing really, but for me that is the only bugbear, and it is just in the winter. Booking sites can be a bit of a pain really. You're somewhere and you know you've got to book. We are big, we tow a car, we can't just ad hoc our stays like a lot of you guys out there can do with park-ups and things like that. It's that much more difficult for us.
Yeah, it is.
So we need to book sites, especially in the winter.
Not that we're complaining.
No, not at all, not at all. But sometimes that can be a bit of a pain. You can, you know, since we came into Wales, we found the sites are fewer and further between this time of year, or they're astronomically expensive, and we just refuse to pay it.
Wow, Wales is expensive.
£35 a night, I don't think so.
No, Wales is expensive for CLs.
Yeah. So
for me, the worst thing was exactly what you just said, to be honest with you, the last bit. Not being able to go on some sites due to the fact that they're grass only.
Yeah.
And it being so wet for us is because the minute we touch grass, we've had it. we are stuck. And sometimes the internet issues being really bad.
Yeah, I'll put that, although we covered that in the previous.
Yeah, but one thing I will say is I personally would not change the space we've got in here for having a smaller van and being able to be next to a beautiful park-up, because we can drive to a beautiful park-up in what has been undoubtedly the best thing we actually did was to tow a car.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing.
Hands down for me, that is by far the best thing we ever did. Yeah. And you might think it's a pain, but it really isn't. No. It follows if you can fit, it fits. It's fantastic, isn't it? You know, for getting in and out, it's none of this all like worrying about the car behind you and stuff. So now we're going to move on to some figures that we've come to. Now this might sound alarming, but when we tell you what it costs us to live in our house, you might be surprised. So we broke this down into some categories, which, if I read them out, will make sense. Obviously, most of the time we've been on CLs. We have had a few wild camps and stuff in some lay-bys and that. So obviously they didn't cost us anything. So just for campsites alone for this year, from January to January, has cost us £6,908. Yeah.
And that includes your electric.
And there was 3 occasions where we had metered electric, and I just rounded it up, right, to £30 for the three times it happened, because I couldn't quite remember, but it's only 3 times that we've done that. Our entertainment, if you like, which is Netflix, Wi-Fi and Prime for the year, has cost us £912. We had 2 lots of sundries, which is things we've had to pay out for, right, which was the work we had done on Betty with the new brakes and all that, which was 420, and we've just paid out 70 quid, even though it's not turned up yet, for the mechanism for that door, the habitation door. So those 2 things there came to 590, but we've got to add 140 onto that, so it's 690, 730, including the washing machine. And then we move on to our fuel. Now, this is fuel for Betty and for the motorhome.
And it's included LPG as well.
And it's included our LPG, because that was really hard to break down, but we haven't spent very much on LPG, so it's mainly fuel.
Accurate as we can make it, but we might have missed one.
Going on bank statements. It's going on bank statements. Our fuel for the year has cost £1,186. Which for a year, I think is pretty damn good.
I think it is pretty damn good too.
Betty is particularly good on fuel. Effie, not so good. This only does, and I'm going to say 20 to the gallon.
But that's one of the reasons why we don't do great big long trips all the time, because we don't need to. We do, apart from the couple of times we've done a 3 or 4 hour trip in the van, we only usually travel for about an hour and a half between sites, average.
Yeah. We need to add on something for that. And then we've had, we've got insurances,
tax, MOTs,
and all the rest of it. And I haven't added the van insurance onto that.
I've got that written down on the book somewhere, wherever it is. I thought I had that written down.
Did you write that down? Because I've stupidly mistakenly done that and then realised it's not in there.
Yeah, 2,166 was the vehicle costs.
Right. Yeah, well, I have got that then.
Yeah, but that includes insurances, the breakdown for Betty, the MOTs, all of that sort of thing. It comes to 2,166.
Right, okay.
That's, because they both passed their MOTs.
So then there's the fuel on top of that.
And then the fuel is separate.
So the fuel was what we said.
1,100.
1,100 and whatever. And the vehicle costs. MOTs and insurance, because the insurance is a massive one for us.
The van is,
for the van, is £2,166. So in total, we need to add the 1,000 to that, because I didn't add that either. So our total for the year is £11,676.
That's not including food and
no, not including your food
and things like that. So,
but our house cost us.
We did rent.
Yeah, we did rent our house, right? But our house cost us, not including fuel, not including food, cost us £16,908. So we've saved £5,000 in rent, and you know what else we didn't add? We didn't add council tax to that.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
All right. So, so just in basicness, we saved £5,000 doing this, and we got to see all these beautiful places. So it's obviously a lot cheaper than a house. We couldn't add all the food up because, it's roughly about £120 a week.
But that's sundries. That's, we're talking about what it's actually costing us.
So it's cost us this year £11,676. So we're going to, and our challenge now for next year is to get that down a little bit, isn't it?
Well,
a little bit more off grid.
Agree with that,
well, a little bit more
off grid.
A little bit more off grid in the summer.
We know what we can and can't do.
Yeah, and we're also adding. We've now got more solar power panels and things like that. So we'll be going for a bit more off grid this year, coming in 2024. So we just wanted to like do that, like a sort of end of year review, show you some of the lovely places we've been, and we hope that you've enjoyed that and it's been a bit informative. If you've got any more questions for our next live show that we do, don't forget to drop them in the comments. Sorry about that, the camera just overheated. So all that remains for us to say is have a fantastic New Year's Eve. Don't get too drunk, and make sure that 24 is your year for going out. If you're going to do this, go and do it. You won't have any regrets. And enjoy all your travels, be it for a weekend, 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, however long you do it for. Have a great time. We hope to see some of you guys making some videos and putting them on YouTube. And we thank you for watching us and for your continued support. You all know just who you are, and you know, amazing. See you in the comments, because we love the comments.
Yes, we do.
And yeah, just
I do read them all. I don't answer. I'll leave that to Steve, but I do read them.
Yeah, but that might be changing this year too. I might have to get some help, because the comments are getting more and more and more. So anyway, have a fantastic time in 2024, and from us, and from Chancer, who's run away because the camera just fell over and it scared him.
Scaredy cat.
Scaredy cat, yeah, he's just a scaredy dog. Anyway, we'll see you in 2024. Thanks, guys. Bye for now.